So by now I am sure that you know that Carti performed at Wireless Fest yesterday in London, and yeah, he fell off stage. And like, obviously that's the thing that, is circulating around social media right now about this performance. And it's almost a little bit unfortunate because if you watch the rest of it, it might be Carti's best performance in quite some time. But why is that? So first, I think it's important to know what Wireless Festival is. It's a pretty legendary rap music festival that takes place in London every year, and it's run by Live Nation. And I mean, they've had some pretty killer lineups. It's not all rap, but it's definitely, I think, moved closer to that over the years. So like looking here, for example, 2021, they had Migos, Skepta, AJ Tracy, Central C, Megan Thee Stallion, Rick Ross, Young Thug. So I mean, they do get a good mix of the UK rap scene and the US rap scene. But I mean, this year's lineup was kind of incredible, sort of highlighting the best of mainstream American rap with Rocky, J. Cole, Tyler, and these are also they have 3 different outdoor arenas here. But kind of going back to so now we know what Wireless Fest is leading up to this Carti thing, because the audience was clearly there to see Carti, especially knowing that it is a rap festival. This isn't like a Lollapalooza 2021 in Chicago where it feels a certain percentage of that audience was waiting for Miley Cyrus. It feels like and looks like when you watch the live performance itself that people were here for Carti. And so let's talk about the actual falling down. There's not really too much to say about it other than I don't think Carti was as aware of where he was as he should have been. But what culminated was a pretty hilarious clip, and he even posted on his alternate Instagram a reversed video of it where essentially it looks like he's just floating back up on stage. But even when he fell off stage, I mean, you could tell he was really reveling in this moment. And I don't know if that's a certain thing that he was on, or just the performance itself, or a mix of it all, which is probably the case. He clearly loved being there and loved performing, and that's also seen in his performance too, because I saw a comment on the live performance of this on YouTube, and somebody saying that Carti doesn't usually rap this much. I remember seeing him at Lala 2021. It was a fantastic show. He didn't rap too much, especially compared to this, but seeing him kind of adhering more to that actual live performance sense, where it felt like the King Vamp tour was almost like he was as much a participant in the crowd as everyone else. It really felt like he commanded this stage, and part of that might be due to the fact that he ditched the sort of pyramid-esque design of him atop it, almost sort of a Yeezus-esque design as well. He ditched that in favor of running around stage and having a horde of background dancers along with Ojivolta, his guitarists. And it worked amazingly. I mean, you look at the footage and it seems like slightly choreographed chaos is ensuing on stage, which is so cool to see, because Carti started taking advantage of the nighttime shows where it's harder to see the performer on stage. Set him atop this giant pyramid, and it says something. It's theatrical, and this is theatrical too. And I think that there just needs to be more attention paid in the live performance scene of how cool and revolutionary this is for hip-hop performances, especially in a time where rappers are rapping over their own MP3s essentially, and that's kind of the norm. I've seen certain rappers do it without it, like Jack Harlow is one who typically doesn't use MP3s during his shows. And what I mean by that is, instead of playing the instrumental and letting the rapper rap on it, they play the song and the rapper just sort of follows along with it, obviously getting chances to breathe, to pause, and things like that. But Carti doesn't really seem to care about that, and him bringing out, tripling down on the electric guitars is really lending a heavier focus for him on these shows of what he wants it to be and how different he wants it to be than other rappers' shows. Even someone like an Uzi that seems to think that he could recreate the Carti aesthetic if he could, he can't, because he doesn't seem to care enough about the live show scene, where, Carti 2-3 years ago, I don't think was as invested in performing as he is now. And you know, performing live as an artist, as a rapper, that's how you make money too. So, you know, Carti's really, like I said, tripling down on the electric guitars, but also everything else surrounding his live performances, because I mean, you look at the reactions to it, the public reactions are always positive. People have the time of their lives at these shows. And the only real naysayers I see online are people saying like, oh, do you see the devil's inside Carti's eyes? I'm like, come on, let's not start this. And B, it might be, his eyes might be like that because he's on something, or he has makeup on. Like, have you seen Carti shows in the last 2 years? I don't know. It's just kind of annoying seeing people that they see something different, and instead of trying to enjoy it or see why that is, they're scared and pick something they're comfortable with to attribute to it and say, oh, it's devil worshiping, whatever. I just thought that was kind of ridiculous as well. But I want to focus more on the background stage dancers. I don't even want to call them that, because they seem like they were almost, you know, providing Carti sort of an outlet for his rage that he can't give. So like, I'm watching right now and it's like they're following him around, they're pumping him up, and they're just kind of flailing their arms around, and they almost seem to be doing it like interpreters, which is interesting. Like right now, the scene I'm watching is Carti center stage and all the dancers to the right, sort of keeping up the energy and giving people something to look at all times. It really adds dynamics to the show, which is huge. And to see Carti constantly adding things and doing this and sort of ever evolving performance of his is super interesting too, because, you know, as a fan myself, it gives me a reason to tune into these live performances all the way across the world, because there is always something a little bit different about each of his shows, especially when they're festival performances like this. And considering this is like his third show or one of 3 shows in like a 4 or 5 day period, I mean, he just killed it. And what does this mean moving forward for Carti's performances? As usual, that's something I try and touch on, but you know, I think for this, I'd like to see him sort of continue with this, you know, take the background dancers, the guitarists, keep doing it and evolve it, test with it, innovate. You know, I think that's what's been so interesting about this too, is you can tell there's inspiration and references here, but they're very hard to pinpoint. And I think that's because we're seeing this sort of performance. Like, as I'm watching this right now, I wouldn't expect it to be someone like Playboi Carti. I think that's what makes it so cool, is defying expectations. And that's always been, I think, one of Carti's biggest strengths to him is fighting back against the naysayers with his music, with his performances, and giving people a reason to not only take him seriously, but actually become a fan and attend these shows, stream his albums, and, you know, become a fan that at the end of the day he profits off of. It's really smart, but obviously, like, Carti's so good at it and seems to enjoy it so much. I never get the sense that this is being done for any monetary reason, which I think is always great to be able to attribute to an artist, especially when concerning the potential longevity of their career. Were you at Wireless Fest? If you were, please leave a comment and explain what your experience was like. I'm always interested to see how, you know, different crowds and different crowds from across the world react to Carti's performance as someone who obviously is an American artist, but seems to have that same fervor and just same rage when he travels overseas. From what I saw, I thought it was fantastic, and, you know, I can't wait to see him hopefully bring some of this back to the States. But we don't have any confirmation of that yet because, well, this happened yesterday. Like, comment, and subscribe for more. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon. Thank you.